My agency has done over 750,000 in the last 30 days, and trust me, that didn't happen without making a ton of mistakes along the way. What I'm about to share with you are the 5 biggest mistakes that almost every new agency owner makes when getting into OnlyFans management. These are the same mistakes that cost me time, money, and momentum when I was first scaling. And if you learn from mine, then you won't have to repeat them yourself. Whether you're just starting out or you're already running an agency, you need to pay close attention, because avoiding these 5 mistakes could save you months of headaches and easily make you an extra 6 figures this year. Mistake 1, trying to do it all yourself. This is one of the biggest reasons most agency owners burn out or simply never scale. When you first start your OFM agency, it's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you can handle everything. Chatting, traffic, acquisition, content management, client communication, and system building, all on your own. But here's the truth. If you try to do everything, you'll end up mastering nothing. There are so many moving parts inside this business, and every single one of them requires time, focus, and deep expertise to perform at a high level. The fastest way to fail in OFM is by trying to be the chatter, the socials manager, the operations manager, and the client acquisition specialist all at once. You'll spread yourself too thin, and you'll make mistakes, and you'll stagnate because you're constantly firefighting instead of improving. And that's why I always recommend getting a business partner. Splitting the workload isn't just about having help, it's about building expertise inside of your agency. A great structure that's worked for a lot of high performing agencies that I've seen, including mine, is having one person focus entirely on back-end operations, so things like chat systems, team management, and OF optimization, and the other person focus on front-end operations, so that's like acquisition, marketing, and sales. When you divide your focus like that, something incredible is going to happen. You start to master your side of the business, and that's exactly what happened in my agency. By dividing up the responsibilities and focusing on our own zones of excellence, we've built a machine that works. Our chatting ratio is elite, our traffic systems are optimized, and our acquisition process is consistent and reliable. We're not trying to do everything, we're trying to do what we're best at and at the highest level possible. Now, if you don't have a business partner, that's okay, you still have options. You can outsource. For example, if you're strong on the front end, you're good at acquisition, building relationships, and getting creators signed into your agency, then outsource your chats to a reliable chatting agency, that's fine. Let them handle fan management while you double down on what you do best. Or if your strength is in systems and delivery, hire or partner with someone who's great at front-end acquisition. You can also bring on talent to handle tasks you're not great at. Don't waste time trying to become an expert in everything. Instead, leverage experts, because the reality of this is becoming excellent at one thing will make you way more money than being average at 10 things. Specialization scales, and trying to do it all yourself keeps you stuck. So if you're serious about building a 6 or 7 figure OFM agency, stop trying to wear every single hat. Find your lane, dominate it, and build a team or partnership that covers the rest. That's how you grow fast and sustainably. Mistake 2, trying to scale an unmotivated creator. This is easily one of the most common and most painful mistakes I see new agency owners make. They sign one creator, they get excited, they go all in, and then they wonder why nothing's working. And here's the truth behind that. You can't scale someone who isn't motivated. You can't drag someone to success if they're not willing to put in the work themselves. Like, you can take a horse to water, but you cannot make it drink. And most agencies fail because they sign one creator who has limited potential, no consistency, and no work ethic. And then they pour 100% of their energy, time, and attention into trying to make that creator work. They build the systems, write the content plans, build the funnel, set up the chatting team, and the creator simply doesn't execute. You can only take someone as far as they're willing to go. You know, if they're not shooting content, not following the plans you provide, not staying consistent, it doesn't matter how good your systems are. There's only so far you can carry someone who doesn't want to walk with you. That's why one of the most important lessons I've learned is to focus on horizontal scaling, not just vertically scaling. What that means is this: don't put all your eggs in one basket. Don't shut off your acquisition systems the moment you sign your first creator. Keep them running, keep signing, keep testing. The goal isn't to take one creator to the moon. The goal is to build a roster that gives your agency stability, data, and scalability. Because if you only have one creator, you're in a dangerous position. If they quit, you're back to zero. If they burn out, your income disappears. That's not a business, that's dependency. Instead, your goal should be to sign 3 to 5 creators very, very early on. That gives you immediate variety, balance, and momentum. It also allows you to test your systems across multiple profiles, so you can see what works, what doesn't, and where the biggest ROI actually comes from. And once you have that base of creators, you can start building an A, B, and C team structure. This system has completely transformed how we run our agency. And here's how it works. A team, these are your high performers, the ones earning the most, producing the best content, and following every plan you give them. They get the most attention, the best chatters, and more strategic focus. Then you've got B team. These are your mid-tier creators. They're showing effort and potential, but they might still be inconsistent. And your C team, team. These are your low performers. Now you still give them systems and guidance, but minimal time investment until they prove themselves. And we currently run this ABC system with 40 to 50 creators. And it's one of the biggest reasons we've been able to scale so fast. It creates balance, removes dependency, and keeps the agency's income consistent and protected. If one creator leaves, we don't start from zero. The system keeps moving, the revenue keeps flowing, and the team keeps operating. So don't fall into the trap of thinking you'll find one perfect creator and scale to 6 figures with them. That's not how this business works. The key is volume, structure, and selective focus. Keep signing creators, keep your acquisition system running 24/7. Because when you have options, you have leverage, and leverage is what gives you freedom and control inside of your agency. You'll learn far more managing 5 creators at once than trying to perfect one. That's how you build real systems, gather data fast, and identify who's actually worth your time. So remember, don't try to scale an unmotivated creator. Focus on horizontal growth. Build your ABC tier system early and create an agency that can't be shaken by one creator leaving. That's how you scale, sustainably and strategically. Now, mistake 3 is neglecting SOPs. This one separates real business owners from the rest. When most people start their OFM agency, they're in full hustle mode. You're doing so much every day that you tell yourself you don't have time to slow down and document what you're doing. But here's the problem with that. If you don't take the time to create SOPs, standard operating procedures, you'll stay stuck in that same loop forever. So without SOPs, nobody in your team knows how to properly do your tasks when you delegate. You'll spend hours personally showing every new staff member what to do step by step. And when someone leaves, which will happen, you'll have to do it all over again with the next person. That's not scalable, that's just pure chaos. And if you want to run a real business, you need to start documenting everything. Every process, every task, every system that makes your agency run, from onboarding and chatting to lead generation and retention. Because the goal isn't to do the work forever yourself. The goal is to be able to hand someone a playbook and have them execute it without you. You want to get to the point where you can give those SOPs to a hiring manager and they can handle the entire process from start to finish, bringing in new staff, training them, and ensuring they follow your systems without needing constant supervision. That's how you scale. That's how you buy your time back. If you don't have documentation for your systems, your business depends entirely on you. And that's not a business, that's a job. So even if it feels tedious at first, make it a non-negotiable habit. Every time you complete a task that you'll eventually delegate, record your screen, write a short guide, or outline the steps. Your future self and your future team will thank you. Hiring and delegation are essential for growth, but if you haven't built the foundation with SOPs, you're setting everyone up to fail. So give yourself the best chance of success. Systemize everything, document everything, and make your agency trainable, repeatable, and scalable. If you don't do this, you will eventually become the bottleneck in your own business, which I have seen with countless agencies. Mistake 4, being stuck in your ways. This is where a lot of agencies are going to fall off here. They find one method that works, one chatting style, one marketing strategy, one traffic system, and then they get comfortable. They stop testing, they stop innovating, and they stop evolving altogether. And here's the harsh truth. The moment you get complacent in this industry, you're finished. Social media algorithms are always changing. The OnlyFans market is always evolving. What worked 6 months ago might not work today, and what works today could be obsolete next month. And if you get too reliant on one traffic strategy, one chatting framework, or one content funnel, you're setting yourself up to get overtaken. Because while you're still trying to squeeze results out of an old system, other agencies are experimenting, innovating, and adapting to what's working now. I've seen it happen over and over again. Agencies that were crushing it a year ago completely disappeared the net because they stopped moving forward, they thought that they had it all figured out, and they got left behind. You need to make sure that this never happens to you. In this business, your edge comes from constant evolution. You have to stay curious, you have to stay hungry, and always look for ways to improve your systems, your chats, your funnels, and your team. The best way to do that is to network. Build relationships with other agency owners. Stay in group chats, masterminds, and circles where people share what's working for them. Don't see other agencies as competition as such. See them as a data point. If someone else is getting better results, find out why. Learn from it, test it, implement it. And if you want to move even faster, get a mentor. Find someone who's already ahead of the curve, someone who's navigating the changes in real time and can help you adapt before everyone else does. Having access to the right information early is the biggest advantage that you can have in OFM. It's what separates the agencies that dominate long term from the ones that peak once and fade away. So never get stuck in your ways. Never assume you've figured it out. Keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep adapting. Because the truth is, The second you get comfortable, someone hungrier, someone testing new ideas is already building the system that will replace you and your agency. Mistake 5 is underpaying staff. When you're starting out, the temptation to pay as little as possible is huge. You look at your profit margins, you want to keep them high, and you think, if I can get someone to do this for $3 an hour, why would I pay $7? Well, that mindset will absolutely destroy your agency from the inside out. And here's the truth. If you pay cheap, you attract cheap. Cheap talent, cheap results, cheap effort. And what you'll find is that people who accept these kinds of wages aren't the ones capable of helping you scale. They're the ones who couldn't get a better opportunity anywhere else. You want killers, you want specialists, and you want people who treat your agency like it's theirs. I learned the hard way because when I first started scaling, we were obsessed with maximizing margins. We thought if we can keep labor cheap, we'll profit more. So we hired low-cost chatters, low-cost assistants, low-cost pretty much everything. And sure, on paper it looked great. High margins, low expenses, but in reality, it was a complete disaster. The chats were sloppy, response times were inconsistent, and motivation was non-existent. And worse, we had to constantly replace people because they either got bored, burnt out, or just simply disappeared. That constant churn in your team will kill your momentum. You might think you're saving money, but really, you're paying for the same training and mistakes over and over and over again. And here's what you need to understand. Good people know they're good. If someone's an elite chatter who can generate 40k a month in revenue, for example, do you think they're going to join your team for $3 an hour? Of course not. They already know their worth, and they'll go for an agency that respects it. So when you pay bottom of the barrel rates, you're literally filtering out the best people before they even apply. You're building your business on the weakest possible foundation. The people who don't have options, basically. Top performers always have choices, and if your agency isn't offering competitive pay, you're not even in the running for that top talent. That means you'll only attract workers who are desperate, inexperienced, or unmotivated, and that's not who you want, representing your brand or speaking to your creators' fans. The next thing that happens when you underpay staff is psychological. Like when someone knows they're being underpaid, they also know they're replaceable. And when people feel replaceable, they stop trying. Simple as that. They do the bare minimum to keep the job. They clock in, clock out, and never go the extra mile. Because why would they? If they earn the wage, they can replace in a week somewhere else. There's no incentive to pour their energy, creativity, or loyalty into your business. On the other hand, when you pay people well, something amazing happens. They start to care. They start to see your business as their business. And when someone's earning a solid above average wage, they're proud of their job. They'll protect it, they'll fight for it, and they'll make sure their performance is worth the money because they don't want to lose it. Paying well creates loyalty. Loyalty creates consistency, and consistency is what creates results. When you pay better, you can actually run leaner. Low-paid workers usually require heavy supervision. You have to constantly check their work, correct mistakes, and babysit them. That's time, and time is money. When you pay well and attract real professionals, they don't need micromanagement. They take ownership, they think critically, and they solve problems before they reach you. That's what we started to see in our agency when we changed our pay structure. We began paying way above the industry standard, and almost overnight the quality of applicants skyrocketed. We started hiring people who were an actual asset. They weren't just doing a task, they were improving the systems themselves proactively. They were coming up with better scripts, optimizing fan funnels, spotting patterns in data, and suggesting improvements to operations. Now, these are the people who move the needle, and because they were more capable, we didn't need as many of them. Our team got smaller, leaner, more efficient, but way more powerful. So ironically, by paying more, we actually became more profitable because output per person went through the roof. Now, let's talk about the ripple effect this has on your clients, your creators. When your team is underpaid, their performance is inconsistent. Messages will get sloppy, retention is going to drop, and fans churn faster. Creators are going to notice, and if a creator feels like their chatter isn't giving 100%, they'll blame the agency, and that's when your client churn is going to start climbing. And you might think margins are protected by saving $2 an hour, but if you lose one good creator because of your poor service, you just lost thousands in recurring revenue. It's a false economy. Underpaying doesn't save money, it just shifts where you lose it. Instead of losing dollars in payroll, you lose them in opportunity. And when we started paying top rates, everything changed. We attracted professionals who took pride in their work. We built a culture of accountability, loyalty, and performance. And our agency simply exploded. The quality of delivery improved, and our churn dropped. And our creators started referring other creators because the experience was actually exceptional. If you want to build a 7-figure agency, you need 7-figure people. And 7-figure people don't work for $3 an hour. So those are the top 5 biggest mistakes to avoid in OFM. And I promise you, if If you can sidestep even half of these, you're already ahead of 90% of agencies out there, because most people don't fail because OFM doesn't work. They fail because they approach it wrong. They try to do everything themselves, they work with the wrong creators, and they don't build systems. They stop evolving, and they underpay the very people who could have helped them scale. This business isn't about luck, it's about structure, systems, and standards. And if you raise those, everything else follows. Your clients, your revenue, your reputation. And if you got some value from this, drop a like, subscribe, and if you are serious about building your agency properly, not guessing, not winging it, check out the link in the description. You'll find my free OFM blueprint that walks you through exactly how to structure your systems, hire your first team, and scale past 6 figures. This industry moves fast, so the faster you implement, the faster you win. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for listening.